Hi everyone, welcome to the vlog for Pokemon Spectrum Session 10. So, lots happened today, guys.
Yeah, that it has.
I mean, I thought it was going to be either another full episode for the Pokemon journey, or we were going to flip and do a full for the human, and then it was going to be like 2 sessions each. But I like how it played out.
Yeah,
It's nice seamless
nice
transition,
balance.
and then
Yeah, I gave you a choice of how you wanted to play that out.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I figured upon seeing the glitches and with how the transmitter was acting up that we probably didn't have too much more to that.
Well, we
Actually-
could
I
have
actually
stayed
was
and
pretty
looked for
much
the
just doing a
programmer
fight.
and help the glitches.
Oh yeah,
but-
Yeah.
You could definitely have that. Definitely could have something you could have done, but you chose not to. And
Basically,
I was supposed to
Lux
ask you
chose
how
not
would
to.
that have mattered, is what I
Lux
have in
was
my
very
notes. We've just decided not now. We never said not never.
you might, the programmer might come up later anyway. It just might, not be when you expect it to show up, but we'll see. So
Really interesting how the combat was shaped with how everything was randomized
Yeah.
and where moves
Yeah.
could be 2 types.
yeah, because it's a glitch.
Yeah. It's really weird.
Was
Yeah,
there
I
any way to do diplomacy with them? Because we kept
Oh, yeah.
trying.
He assumed that we were going to do that.
I assumed that you were somehow going to at least.
Okay, I think the question was, if we offered them enough things, would they come round?
If Remy hadn't smacked him down.
No, no more.
They would have, again, because they are glitchy and therefore some of their social cues are also glitchy. They would have continued asking for more and more and more and more stuff until you did something. So either by force
Okay.
or by charming. So in a way, Remy slapping him on the wrist was not. Basically, they would have kept asking you for more stuff.
Okay.
And until you somehow convince them, we've given you enough, now do what we tell you to do.
Which was my hope that was going to trigger a no. First, now you give us something, and then we give you more. But it just escalated from there very quickly.
Yeah.
Yes, it did.
Going into the session,
Too intimidating.
I predicted that you would somehow at least win them over in some way, and somehow been able to get past the language barrier.
Well,
I
we
didn't know how you
won
would do that.
over them.
Yes.
So
You got away.
So needless to say, what ended up happening was not something I originally predicted, but I knew it was a possibility.
So that means that you didn't think the whole kill Remy now thing would happen.
I thought I thought it would be interesting if I did kill one of you. It would have been interesting for you to reappear as a ghost in the digital world, and what would happen when you return back to the real world, given the fact that you died in the digital world.
Well, if you
What
die in the
would
game,
happen?
you die in real life.
I'm sorry?
If you die in the game, you die in real life. Like we all know.
Correct. So I was playing on the idea that if Remy had died, he would have legitimately died, and then he would have turned into a ghost,
Oh dear.
which you could have still been able to converse with, which means that when he came back to the real world, he would have become a fire ghost Fennekin.
So we wouldn't need like
Aw.
scope or anything.
Fennekin.
He just would have been a ghost type.
He would have been a ghost type.
Huh, that would have been awesome. Should have let you die. Sorry.
We should have
But
let you die.
instead-
However, something else happened instead, which might still be interesting.
Now he's
Oh,
like fire bird type.
Now, instead of Remy being a ghost type, Remy is a
Glitch
type.
Great.
Oh,
Bird.
Type.
Dude,
Yeah.
that
makes
is going to be
sense.
interesting.
Oh.
I think that'll be interesting to explore.
And is you ever going to reveal what he saw happen to Remy?
I think,
Jumping
I
ahead
think
a
he
little.
was convinced that he didn't see it. I mean, you speak for yourself, but
Yeah, Roma.
I don't think. No, he wasn't convinced, but I figure U knew that Remy had a reason for not revealing it, so he
Okay.
said, "Okay, I'll just wait and see what Remy does from now on."
Okay.
But he's got an eye on him though.
Yeah, for sure.
So had you befriended the glitches, you would have learned more about their side of the story. Maybe they would have been a lot more. You would have had a little bit more sympathy for them. But one thing that was never revealed that I can tell you guys now, because I don't know if it'll come up later, is that because of their condition, they cannot survive outside of the digital world. So they would like to go back to the real world, but they can't because they would like die almost instantly. They can only survive within the computer. So one of the reasons why they were looking for the programmer was so that hopefully they could survive outside. Now, the interesting thing is Remy is a bit of an exception to the rule because he himself is not a glitched Pokemon, but now he's sort of been, I guess, possessed by the ghost of a glitched Pokemon. So that'll be interesting. Little plot point to explore in the rest of the campaign.
Is that to say then that they were normal Pokemon when they were first caught and the glitch occurred after they were put into the PC?
I don't want to answer that yet.
Aww.
Okay.
In case that might come up later.
Because I was wondering, if glitches can't survive outside, then did it happen when they were put into the PC? Were they like the same trainer's Pokemon? Did they then re-nickname them to be like, kill me now or whatever, etc.?
I will most likely what happened was they glitched once they were in the system.
Okay.
Oh, and I think another question. Sorry.
They survived in the wild and then they glitched once in the system. Most likely, like, 2 Pokemon like glitched in the sense that they merged together into one, which must be very painful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yes.
So lighthearted question now. In the PC world, Bullet had a mark put over his head. Did it follow him out of the computer?
Yeah. What was the mark that was above your head? It was a moon. For whose character was that?
Bullet.
Oh, for Bullet? Yeah. Bullet, when you pop out, I'm gonna say that you now have this floating.
What? Is it floating or did it like come to rest on his forehead or something?
I'm gonna say it rests on his forehead. So you look like you are now a crowbat.
I am Molly's moon.
With a moon on your forehead. So you're like Sailor Moon's Luna.
Yes. Cool.
Oh man.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, the trainers are gonna be angry.
What? He just got a tattoo. Come on.
So
Not
it'll
a
be.
phase.
So it'll be Sailor Molly Moon. Sailor Molly Moon.
Tiffany can make you the costume.
There we go.
It's fitting. It happened to the purple Pokemon. So yeah.
In the name of the moon, I will punish you. Meow,
Cassie was
right.
red.
Yeah, it's like, and just because I know everyone's asking, yes, it has been on my to-do list for some time to have you shove someone inside of him.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
I think Tiffany needs to have a talk with you about that. Why? Have Nevi present. Have him explain why.
Wow, that's pretty amazing.
Originally, I thought it would be Rotim. Like as a way of smuggling him out or something.
Remy's the first Pokemon to be inside of you.
Just because that's a really awesome goal to have, I'm just going to give you 1 free XP. Just 1 free XP, Molly, since that is a personal bucket list goal that you wanted you to have. And I'm like, yeah, have 1 free XP. There you go.
Wait till you see the rest of the ones I have.
Oh, no. Do they necessarily involve Remy, or can they be anyone?
I don't think any more of them involve shoving someone inside of him, but...
Okay. Okay. Ewy? Yes, I think
that was pretty awesome, though.
Ewy. Ewy.
Poor traumatized Remy.
Yep.
Strangely had this whole scene like mapped out for like why he hates dirty fur, And then that happened before I even laid out the framework of why he hates dirty fur because of
Nice.
mud in particular. And so
Nice.
that will get explained in the future.
I'm sure.
Tiffany will groom you as soon as she gets back.
After he heals from the trauma of this event at the Pokemon.
Fair enough.
Poor traumatized.
The other thing is, technically, Remy also killed his first creature.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He made his first kill.
one.
So
I would assume
Remy's-
it would be Lux.
yeah, it almost was.
Well, off-camera Lux has, but doesn't
Yeah.
quite count.
So again, if Lux's costume did fall off, then yeah, I would have had to ask you guys to roll to see if you would either
Save your
be driven
sanity.
insane or die. In which point, again, the ghost version, the ghost types would have been a thing, but that ended up not happening, which is okay.
There's time. Come on. So Tiffany finally got some combat training. Yay.
Yay!
Yay!
She can now use guns.
She can now use it. Yes.
Yeah, so the investigation on the house. For all intents,
Oh,
we
yeah.
probably assumed it was going to go in a sort of a direction that involved getting too late to the plate.
Had you made a
Yeah.
different decision, had you decided not to help out Madison, you would have gotten to the plate before
Oh,
that
okay.
happened. But your conscience decided that you really wanted to help this person. And so,
Well, Kyle didn't have the meeting until 4. Or did he have a chance for an earlier
Was it?
meeting?
It was the day prior where we made the call that,
the day prior, you would have
Okay.
gone the day prior.
and then in
Okay,
the morning
never
we
mind
went to
then.
Madison.
Because
Yeah.
they had to go to Madison, because he was going to leave that same day.
Okay.
But then you
Never
ended up
mind then.
leaving 24 hours later. So you
Okay.
would have gotten there before it happened.
Oh, we
and
would have gotten
secured
the plate, but
You
the
would have
other
gotten the
team might
plate.
not have known then, still might have slaughtered everybody.
And if Kyle were there, he would probably have been killed. Like, let's be real.
Or, hey,
Yeah, like
wait,
you went
don't we
alone.
know you? Come with us.
Yeah, there would have been consequences for
Oh.
any choice. Even if you guys did get the plate, I'm sure there would have been a different consequence then.
Sure.
Totally different. So I don't think you guys made the wrong choice.
Then
It's
Tiffany wouldn't
just-
get to figure out what Kyle smells like, so priorities.
He does smell good.
Exactly.
So from
You and
the
Chase gonna have to fight over him.
Yep.
Hey,
Hey, I'm gearing up
There's
for
no
you
fight,
as well.
Josh.
You're being too nice. Back off. Should have thought of the coffee thing. Damn it.
but from the estate, like we still need to figure out the whole polyworld thing.
Oh, yeah. But
Figure
let's
out
get to
as in
that,
wait for
'cause-
Molly to tell.
Yeah.
and
The Dreamland is going to be fun tonight, isn't it?
Oh, yes.
Or is this going to be the night of Molly's too traumatized to sleep and Chase knocks her out?
He did make that promise.
No, he made that promise to Cassie.
Right, but he said the next person, like,
Oh,
killing
true.
I do like that. I did enjoy the little scene with Molly and Cassie. I thought that that was a well overdue scene between the two of us, and it was very well role played by the both of you. It's very
But
sweet.
before
scene.
that happened, Prism Labs and implants. Oh my.
Yeah.
Yes.
And a cool
Let's
new
talk about
Pokemon.
Noir's implants.
Believe it or not, Cassie learned more stuff.
Yes.
I thought she knew everything already.
Right? You would think.
You just
There's
need every
more to
time you.
learn.
I think Cassie needs to start saying jinkies or something every time
Yes.
because she's the Velma of the group at the moment.
She's the cool Velma.
But she's not at. Velma is a little bit less Cassie-like in the sense that Cassie's a little bit more sassy, but
Sassy Cassie. Well, it was that kind
Sassy
of thing,
Cassie.
like when I was first presenting Cassie as a character, I'm like, yeah, she's totally into all this stuff and she's smart and knows a lot of stuff, but she's not a nerd. Like the typical, like the standard, because there's, when you think of a nerd, a certain thing comes to mind, and that's not how I pictured her. And I don't think that's how I play her.
Oh, come on. You have a pocket protector. You're just hiding it.
Maybe. But, but yeah.
You will find it.
This actually, I did wonder, honestly, when we were going into the estate, I'm like, is this going to be like a dark Scooby-Doo episode? Because
Yep.
paintings, I was like waiting for the eyes to shift and like, or a trap door and someone's going to fall down. Shoot, It didn't go that way, but
Speaking of the estate, was there anyone alive still?
Not at the estate.
Okay.
Everyone who was at the estate. I mean, I'm sure there might have been staff members who weren't working that day.
Okay. Yeah.
But anyone who was in the estate died and did not survive. Not even the Pokemon.
All right.
Were there only those 3 Pokemon though?
There were
Supposedly?
only those 3 Pokemon that you supposedly.
Okay. I mean, I guess we didn't search like the bodies, but I think we could have seen if they had like Pokeballs on their belt or whatever.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Yeah, we
Yeah,
a
so
little
roll
late.
that.
So,
Yeah, so-
is Cassie going to share the information about Cybrin plants?
Yeah, I was gonna go back to the augmentation thing. Is one of those.
I brought it up. I'll talk about it.
If Chase knew that was an option, I mean, I don't know how quick he'd be jumping at it, but he would definitely go,
Whoa.
wait, what? You can do stuff.
Probably take longer than 5. Probably take longer than 5 hours to like get them implanted rather than just activated.
Yeah, I read real quick because I had to look into it, but it's it can take the simple ones a couple hours, but likely a couple days and weeks because of healing and whatnot.
Good to know.
So I wouldn't have done it in those 5 hours because even if I learned about it, but just
Right.
if Chase learns about this and this is a thing Cassie can get him access to, he would definitely consider
Go under the knife.
Like,
And I mean, with Chase's incredible healing factor, like it might not even take a few days.
That's true.
are you kidding? There's an augmentation that increases the healing factor. That's what I want.
Oh, okay, that makes sense then. I mean, yeah, Cassie, she sees no reason at this point to share that information. I mean, Dr. Lightyear even said, don't just spread that around the general public and whatnot. And it just never came up either. She also knows that Noir was really hesitant to share even with her, even though she was asking Cassie for that favor. And so for the sake of her confidentiality and everything too, another reason to not bring it up.
Okay.
I'm not saying it'll never come up, of course.
Oh, it'll come up. It'll come up.
Okay, I'll just
Shay is already mapping this out for next session.
Chase saw
Dreamland,
her
ask
looking
where
hard
they are.
Chase saw her looking hard at that door. Like,
Well, telekinetic. It makes
And then
sense
she
to look at
freaking
the
like
door.
smashed it open. Again, that's the reason, like one of the reasons psychics have curfews, because imagine if that force were applied to a human head. There goes the neck.
Yeah.
You know, like
Yeah.
kill someone from afar without
Yeah. Very true.
Yeah, that's right. You're a potential murderer, Noir.
I'll support it.
I see you giggling over there.
Potential.
You. Also, Molly, what did you steal?
Yeah, we'll see what the hell that's
Do
about.
involve Polywell.
Yeah, we got to learn about what she stole, about the Polyworld,
Did the Polyworld try to stop her?
and apparently it was
I
involved.
will-
It involved her family, which I thought her family. She had a happy life with them.
Or they were on that system and they're types. But whatever, we'll
I
get
will-
there in a sec.
We'll get.
I will reveal that there is a reason why Molly likes swirls.
Because that's another thing that I questioned actually. Like, wasn't she always drawing swirls into sandboxes,
Yes.
which was before the Irene thing
Yep.
could ever happen? So
I will say that Molly's trauma, Molly's PTSD, it was mixing up 2 different incidents.
Okay.
So maybe one involves Irene, maybe one involves a Poliwhirl.
Okay.
Yeah.
Irene had a very strange fashion sense.
She wore the wrong thing.
Just lots of swirls.
Yeah, she was like, she had a secret life where she was essentially the Cruella de Vil of Polyworlds.
Trauma mama.
Instead of like seeing spots, she like swirls.
Oh dear.
Oh dear, that's their intestines. Yo.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is in Oregon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is true.
Gotta make good soup though, right?
Well, I mean, with proper tanning, you could make it
Tadpoles.
some sort of. Anyway.
Yes. Yeah.
Y'all will be revealed next time. Who knows?
Yeah.
Next time on Pokemon Spectrum.
So in the library, where I was with my thoughts, I was like, I think the big feet are like, I was thinking Golem. I was Golurk, punching the, like breaking through the wall and stuff like that, and that there was a lot of damage around it, and that it was partially ghost. So
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a really
I thought
good...
maybe that was all tied into the plaque, but yeah, I kind of got thrown off with the. I think Riz and I had a quick exchange in the background, right, where it's like, "Do you think this is a splicer?" Where she was like, "Oh, wait, could it be?"
Because that's the thing. Like you said you were thinking Golurk. You said you were thinking Golurk largely because of like the foot size and everything, the footprint, which totally made sense to me. In my thought, like I went, when first seeing the slices, I was thinking like, is it a Scyther? Is it a Kabutops? And then with the web and like Ariados, and then with all of the like bashing into things and the brute strength and the digging, I went from like Excadrill to and Golem, yeah. And so then we had that discussion, where it's like it could be a splicer, and that completely changes the physiology, where you could have the abilities of one particular Pokemon with normal human feet, kind of thing.
Yep.
So it's an extra step in trying to deduce what it could possibly be, because all we can really rely upon are like the types and the moves available to them. And if we actually see them, a description can help, of course.
And I think
like if he has Super Saiyan hair, it's like, oh, it's Sandslash. But
and they do have long feet, so and they can dig. But I'm totally not reading this off the Pokédex right now.
And it was ground steel type for Golurk. I said Ghost there, but which got me thinking of Trevenant first, and then I went to Golurk because of the.
Are Golurk not Ghost? I actually thought they were part Ghost.
I think it's steel ground or ground steel. Sorry.
Okay.
It's Ghost Ground.
Oh, it is
Ghost
Ground.
Okay, yeah.
Ah.
Yeah. So. I don't know. I mean, I do assume that it was a pair working together, because I can't think of any combination that would have things like dig and even string shot, or something like that.
Yeah. Now, do TMs, HMs work on splicers, or we don't know yet?
I assume that they could, but even that actually brings up a good point. Even if they aren't on someone's move list, there are things called VMs, which are available to
the serum thingies from the contest.
Yeah, that's essentially what they are. Where it can teach any Pokemon any move, and so if a splicer can use it.
So is there a bug type that's kind of like a praying mantis? Anything with blades for arms? It's a lot of cutting.
Yep.
I wouldn't. Well, I mean, like there's Scyther, but he doesn't know any of those bug moves like String Shot.
It's like there's Scyther, there's Scizor. Like Riz and I were kind of chatting about this in Roll20 during that whole thing, and I don't know if Scizor can learn Dig. I feel like he could though. So
I wouldn't be too
thinking
surprised for that one.
I'm thinking even as like separate actions where the different ones, like the one was a basher, was like ground or steel or whatever, breaking through things, and then one was like the cutter, and was like the insect type was just going around like subduing people and like ripping them open.
Or maybe it could have been something like Aegislash or
that crossed my mind too, honestly, with the ghost aspect.
Yeah.
But I didn't look into their moveset. I just thought about, obviously it could slash because it's a sword. It could bash because it's a shield. So I don't know. Yeah, I
thought it was a golem.
I think we're gonna have to wait for more information.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But friggin' Salamence again. So of course.
Time to get angry at
That's my
Salamances.
personal rival, Salamence. Salamence.
Team Omni.
Yes.
Yeah.
You have a name now. It's not Team Spectrum. Sorry to disappoint.
Oh.
No, it's okay. That's who we are.
Oh, you are Team Spectrum.
Yeah.
So you're actually a good team.
Yes.
Well, technically, Chase might be Team Omni, but that's getting way ahead,
Actually,
and there's a lot of
Chase
other
might be
stuff I
Team
want to
Omni,
talk
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, are we past the estate though? Are we ready to move on
past
to
the
the
estate.
orphanage?
Yes.
To the orphanage and the
Because,
sandbox.
Then I have to.
The Emerald's name popping up at the house was weird. Like, was not
That
expecting
was.
that.
Yeah. And Wade's apparently an ex-boyfriend. I
Mhm.
wonder when Emerald knew him.
You could have been a Fernandez.
So
You could have been
close.
Tiffany Fernandez.
And I
It
could have
sounded
lived
like
in
you
one of the
were
biggest,
Marowak.
most fabulous cities. Darn it.
True.
Hark, I have to ask, would all of that have happened without the leaves? at the orphanage?
The flashbacks?
I mean, were you going to make it happen either way? Were you going to make it work? Or...
I was only going to... No, only if you chose to use the leaves.
Yes.
Just
okay, good.
Good instinct, Riz.
Yeah, just like I wasn't going to force you guys into going after the programmer. But you could have... That whole, like, scene at the orphanage could have been a lot shorter if you decided not to use the leaves.
I mean, I figured as soon as you said that the leaves brought you back in time, I'm like, oh, well, you know where we're going next? The orphanage.
Out of character, approve. In character, no, we do not steal. Bad Cassie.
Yeah.
She stole from a dead guy, technically, that's true.
I was wondering if you would be able to get out of there with the leaves, because if Kyle was there when you found the leaves, it's a good thing you guys split up.
Yeah.
Cassie, who was like, no, we shouldn't split up. But it's a good thing you guys split up.
It's a dumb
It is a dumb idea. It is, yeah. You're the smart one. But no, if Kyle witnessed you stealing from the premises, yeah, he would not have been okay with it. I intended for you to only use a leaf once and maybe save the other two for whatever reason. But you did use them twice, and therefore you got more information.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I definitely didn't want to use all of them because Cassie's not entirely selfless. But I felt it was important. Like, it was important for Chase to get his because he's a main character, and this is a big thing for him. But then I also thought he's one of the main characters. I mean, we're all main characters, you know.
I know, agreed. But
okay,
still, just a funny way of wording it.
You're just an NPC, Kyle.
No, but that's
got one too. So,
but then I thought it was important too, because Kyle specifically lost his memory as well. So I wanted to know, and I figured we all wanted to know more about his past, and I wanted to see too, honestly, if their past would match up.
Yeah.
No, because of how Chase and Molly remembered things differently. I wanted to see if like Chase's past and his past would actually match up, because then it's not relying on memories. It's actually like, let's see what you experienced. And then part of the reason I didn't give the third to Molly was, again, I want to keep one. And Cassie too.
I wonder why.
I don't know. Certainly not dead in a row.
It's not like you got told where your father got murdered.
Not at all, no. But then too, like, Cassie just experienced the trauma scene with Molly, and it's like, maybe we shouldn't have her go back again. Like, and relive anything herself. I didn't expect it. I didn't expect it to be a vision we'd all partaken.
Plus, I feel like at that point, at the point in the orphanage, I don't think there's much that Molly needs to remember. I mean, she seems to remember everything pretty well from that time. She just doesn't know what happened afterwards. So,
right, what you just saw.
Yeah. So Molly wouldn't have been too concerned about what happened. Like, I mean,
at least from her perspective,
she wouldn't have had to fix her memory. She didn't need to fix anything in her own memory.
Because she's not broken.
Like some people,
as you saw, she is broken, but in different ways.
Yeah, a little different.
Yeah. So the Celebi leaves was something that I threw in because I thought that there was an obvious use for them. But I decided, well, what if I gave you more than one? What if I gave you 3 of them? And then I'm just curious to see what they would use all 3 of them for. So I am very excited to see what the 3rd leaf will actually be used for, because I don't think you're going to get any more leaves. So hopefully you can make this one count. The use of this leaf count.
Hopefully. I'm between 2 options right now.
Oh, man.
So.
You.
Yeah. Chase not getting that folder in the scene was probably the best thing that could happen. Because there was definitely...
There's a reason Cassie doesn't share everything she learned.
Right. Not only did the thought cross my mind that I'm taking a leaf right now to see what the hell happened in here, but the thought definitely crossed my mind where I was going to take all 3. Like, that's what would have...
What would he have done though? Like, run with them?
If you would have told, if Cassie would have told Chase that you can go back in time and see whatever you focused on, then he'd take all 3 and he'd want all of it. Like, he'd want to know the truth in absolution. Like, if these are his options, then he's going to take all of it, and he's going to take that risk.
He didn't have to be a bully / thief. Cassie's already the thief, and she's nice about it.
Just subtle
You're
about it.
I helped.
Yeah.
Honestly, at the time, I didn't even think about it as stealing. I'm just like, hey, look what I found.
Yeah.
Clearly.
I'm like, oh yeah, this belongs to a dead guy.
All RPG logic says this is my
That's
job.
what
They
adventurers
won't
do.
need it. Yeah.
I am a murder hobo, and this is mine now.
Yeah.
Yep.
Wow.
But I'm glad it went down the way it did. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad that you guys decided to use the leaf there. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, another question: if they had failed their focus checks, would the leaves have been used up?
They would have been used up, but you would have not had as vivid of a back.
Yeah. Okay, that's
of-
what I was
of a
really
flashback.
afraid of.
I
too.
would have given you a flashback, but how much information you would get was determined by the roll.
Okay.
Part of what made
Yeah,
that
you
hard
get.
is like
That's why
Chase
you-
has a sucky focus.
That's why you couldn't get names of people.
Okay.
For example, there were certain parts that were blotted out.
That makes sense.
Hmm.
Oh, does that mean too that like if we had rolled a higher focus, like the kids would have been in more color, kind of thing? Like
Yeah,
were
I would say
they
that.
really dim because of that?
Yeah, I would say that. Yeah.
The whole bit where they went back in time at the orphanage was so like. This orphanage itself was so creepy. It's like,
Yes.
this is horror music time, horror
Yeah.
movie time. Oh,
I mean, I didn't know what to expect, but I was ready to get something. I was ready to get something to roll with because it's the one part in the prep for us starting. There were a lot of holes left for Harp to do whatever he wanted with. So it was a little bit of fear inside for sure. I was like, oh dear God. something could get revealed here that could make the whole dynamic sort of shift for people in strange ways. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it might still. We'll wait for the conversation. Yeah.
Next Dreamland's going to be interesting.
Yeah, it will be.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
yeah.
Thoughts?
I wonder if we're going to get
on-
extra. Oh,
Go
sorry.
ahead, Al.
Horrible timing.
Wait, what are you gonna get?
I
Extra
was
what?
gonna... I wonder if we're going to get extra person in Dreamworld.
Yeah. Someone whose hair color matches a door.
He remembered his towel.
Exactly.
Thoughts on the painting?
Oh, she's Cresselia. Like,
Ooh.
You think that so you think that Deja Vu is
Okay.
Cresselia?
that's my current thought. Yeah, I think that she's the icon or whatever it's called for
The icon of Cresselia. Okay.
The
Avatar. Is that what it is?
So-
Avatar.
If she's Cresselia, do you trust her?
I mean, it's complicated. Like, Cresselia is known to be a more benevolent Pokemon, but does that necessarily mean like in our favor? No. But at the same time, through the Dream World, which again is like a big Cresselia thing, we're receiving all of this help from the gods, from other legendaries. So it's kind of like it has to be good overall.
Mm.
So it's like, yes.
I said this in
but
Discord
choosing
before.
still with skepticism.
We don't know we're the good guys in all this.
Right.
But the
They're-
legendaries, they should be the good guys.
Yeah, but it's all perspective, right? Like, what if Team Omni is actually trying to do something for the benefit of humankind, and they're trying to break free from the
To be
impression
fair,
or power of the gods? Like, they're trying
that's
to be
pretty much every Pokemon game. Every
At
Pokemon
this
game,
point,
the team is
Pokemon
like,
game.
well, we're doing this for the good of the world. We're helping the Pokemon. We're creating more land. We're, enriching the environment. But they're
We're
always the
making
terrorists.
humans like Pokemon. So that way we need not fight each other anymore, and Johto can resolve itself. We'll all be the same thing.
So it's
More
they
with-
definitely
more
could have
with-
good motives in their mind. You're right,
It's
perspective.
just twisted, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not with you there yet, Riz, with the whole Deja Vu Cresselia. I don't know what's going on there. I think as player and character. I don't know. I don't think Chase would put that together. He probably wouldn't want to. Because she's not supposed to be real. Like that's he's staying on that until he meets her. She doesn't exist. He thinks you're crazy.
Okay.
Because, yeah, those interviews aren't canon.
That's why.
Okay.
So that's interesting, you deciding to make that canon.
I was right on the first, like the beginning of this thing. I think something happened in Discord where someone made a comment of it not being canon. I'm like, not for Chase.
Yep,
Yeah,
I know.
I remember
Chase.
that.
That existed somewhere. Yeah.
And all the way back in the orphanage, you knew another Mimikyu.
So what do you remember about the people who used you? Like that's
Yeah.
Chase.
something I want to know now.
You're asking like from Chase's perspective?
Chase,
Oh, I mean,
Molly,
Lux, 'cause
Kyle.
Lux was used by all the bad guys.
Just remember the sandbox. Like if the scene that played out was that got mind wiped, right? We got our memories altered. That's why Chase is willing to say, okay, I know I got screwed with. At this point, I'm got to assume Kyle did because he really doesn't remember. So either he kicked back and then got put in his place. And so we're both kind of on the starting ground, or he's a sleeper agent would be my second thing. Is like I think the 12 are sleeper agents and the types will trigger when they're called upon. And that's a little bit disconcerting. Because why does he forget so much?
Yeah.
So your splicer dream might be closer than you think. You might
Yeah,
not
we're
know.
already.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Almost halfway.